Hey Cicely, you should do a video on Homophobic Ferrothorn next. Why don't you talk about Homophobic Ferrothorn? And I mean, yeah, sure, I guess. Ferrothorn hates gay people because a post on Stunfisk said so, but honestly, what else can I say about it? Yeah, sure, in this YouTube channel, I really like using Pokemon and other lighthearted topics to discuss more serious issues, mostly about the queer community. But this is just a silly meme, right? It's not like there's anything profound that we could... Wait, what if... I like going the extra mile, dear stranger online. I will not only tell the story of transphobia in Pokérogue, I will give an entire lecture on how Pokemon is intrinsically political and gender diverse. I will not talk about gender queerness in Doctor Who. I will go back into cinema history to explain why representation matters in the first place. I will not just tell you about a meme. I will track down the person who created the first post and drop them a DM. I will understand the meme. And I will come back, oh yes, I will come back with something to tell. Okay, so Ferrothorn is homophobic. Let's start at the beginning. How did this madness start? Slowbro has been dating Executor ever since late Gen 7, bonding over shared experiences like being Gen 1 Pokemon and having weird cousins from other regions. Everyone seems fine about it, but Caesar later overhears Ferrothorn talking about how that kind of relationship is unnatural and how they're not even the same egg group. How is OU affected? The egg group joke really got me there, actually. I think it's really layered. This is it. This is all there is. Slowbro and Executor have been dating for 8 years now. Caesar loves gossiping and Ferrothorn is homophobic. In 2022, Reddit user Electric Queen dropped this post on the Stunfisk subreddit, and out of the absolute blue, people went crazy about it. 10,000 upvotes, memes, artwork, expansions to this relationship's lore, and now every single chronically online Pokemon fan knows that Ferrothorn is homophobic. That's the story, Morning Glory. First of all, I need to tell you what Stunfisk is, and it's not really a subreddit that I'm wildly active on, so I'm thankful for having had the help of a few strangers online who answered a couple of questions I had. Basically, it's a community on Reddit fully dedicated to competitive Pokemon, both Smogon and VGC. Stunfisk is a huge database of information covering every single format that is. Doesn't matter if you're playing Anything Goes or Little Cup, there will be discussions about it on Stunfisk. As to why it's called Stunfisk, the creator of the community said, Gen 5 was the newest thing at the time, and I wanted something as goofy as Smogon's coughing, but also kind of humble. Maybe dumb too. Stunfisk comes off as silly and fun. I hope you're having fun here. Well, I wouldn't call Smogon's coughing goofy, but Stunfisk definitely is. Just look at it, it's just a Roger Rabbit flat little guy. What's important for us here is that this community is also known for its infamous Stink Post Sundays, which is basically a special day dedicated to shitposting. It was the birthplace of many memorable memes that are the cornerstone of the Pokemon community. One of my favorite being this prankster user that made Urshifu knock out its own partner Colossal in Sword and Shield. I added cartoon music for comic purposes. But yeah, this is Stunfisk and a little bit of the culture that comes alongside it. That being said, even with Stink Post Sundays being a staple for years now, the most liked post of the entire subreddit still is Homophobic Ferrothorn. And I needed to understand it, like, how has this happened? So I did what any hyperfocusing Pokemon video maker would do. I messaged Emily. I needed to know to which spark of creativity, which divine inspiration come upon her so that this viral shitpost could mark Ferrothorn once and forever as the homophobic Pokemon. And Emily told me, I wish there was some grand story about coming up with it, but the reality is that it was mostly just an exhaustion-induced haze from waking up earlier than I wanted. Well, been there, I guess. As with every great story, started with I think I worked like a 13-hour shift the day before and set my alarm wrong, and I was scrolling through Reddit and made a half-assed shitpost based on what had been popular the couple weeks before. Well, overworked working class? Can I make this video into a video essay about extensive labor journeys? I don't think so. Emily told me that the point wasn't even really to talk about gay and homophobic Pokemon. It was about the million posts that were like, X Pokemon gets Y buff. How does this affect the meta? This kind of posts are really popular in Stunfisk, usually under the tag of Theoremon, and there are a lot of them, all of the time. Mostly of people trying to buff their favorites and trying to understand what the meta impact would be. But as always, since queer people need to make everything about ourselves, Emily had to ponder. How does Slowbro coming out of the closet affect the meta? But then I asked her, why is Slowbro an Executor and Ferrothorn? There must be a reason, right? Emily told me that Slowbro was her favorite Pokemon in the meta, so that definitely makes it gay. An Executor, his boyfriend, is the joke about them both being Gen 1 psychic types with regional variants. That's where love comes from, you know? Shared experiences. Ferrothorn was there because, well, Emily hates steel types, and if you ever played Ferrothorn, you know how annoying of a stall wall Ferrothorn can be. We, the gays, have this little internal joke where we classify any minor inconvenience in our lives as homophobic. My translate? Homophobic. They scheduled a Chappelle Roan concert on the same day that I needed to take a work trip? Homophobic. And well, playing against tall Ferrothorn with a bulky build, access to healing moves like Leech Seed can feel very homophobic. But like, don't take this from me. I am again not a competitive expert, and the last time that I tried to explain the meta in this channel, the comment section dragged my ass because I thought Chien-Pao was a steel type. So I invited professional Pokemon Showdown South Inducer WeedleTwineedle to give you, dear stranger online, a quick explanation about why stall Ferrothorn can be extremely annoying.
I'm here to talk to you about why people despise Ferrothorn and think it's the most homophobic, disgusting Pokemon. Ferrothorn was introduced in Pokemon Black and White, and ever since then, it has always been known for setting up entry hazards and being this unkillable wall that just never ever dies and slowly whittles away your hit points. Because even though Ferrothorn is an incredibly defensive Pokemon, it also deals some decent damage. With its low speed stat and its decent attacking stat, it can take advantage of Stab Gyro Ball and Stab Power Whip to do some really good damage to your team. I think it does a little bit more damage than a defensive Pokemon should be able to do, especially with the Iron Barb's ability, because if you make contact with Ferrothorn, you just lose so much of your hit points, especially when it's paired with Rocky Helmet. It's kind of disgusting. And you might be thinking, oh, I could just knock Ferrothorn out with a fire type attack or a fighting type attack, but that's when its teammates come in, because Ferrothorn was commonly paired with Jellicent, immune to fighting and resists fire, and then, Slow Queen also resists, both of its weaknesses, and it has Regenerator, so it could switch between taking fire and fighting attacks, and then Ferrothorn could switch into like grass and electric attacks, and then in the later generations you had Toxapex as well, who was another defensive monster to synergize with Ferrothorn, and it just never got knocked out. And to make matters worse, they gave Ferrothorn access to Body Press, allowing it to use its massive defensive stat, its highest stat, to deal damage to you. And then with Iron Defense, it could become unkillable on the defensive side. And then with Leech Seed, Leftovers, and Protect, it could just slowly heal back, even without reliable recovery. Ferrothorn has always been so annoying to deal with. But yeah, thank you so much for having me on. It was fun to talk about why people despise Ferrothorn. And personally, I think Ferrothorn is a necessary evil, and I kind of miss Ferrothorn now that it's gone from the game, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, she needed a timeout.
Thank you so much for helping clarify, Weedle. I think this sorts it out, but yeah, this is the story. There's nothing more to it, I think. I mean, what am I gonna do for the rest of this video? It's just a silly post that went viral and we kept repeating and repeating it until it became true. Did I fail? Can't I use Ferrothorn to talk about anything else? Introduce an interesting perspective or have a nice political take to end this video? Is this the shortest Cecilia video of all time? I'm sorry, but I guess so, dear stranger online. There's nothing more we can learn from Ferrothorn, but maybe we're looking at this story from the wrong angle. Because, not sure if you noticed, but Emily's post isn't even about Ferrothorn. We have been ignoring the protagonist of this meme all along. This is not a story of homophobia, it's a story of queer love. The post isn't Ferrothorn is homophobic, the post is Slowbro comes out as gay. Most other Pokemon are accepting. And yet, we have to focus on the one Pokemon who's not. Why do we do that? I think it speaks a lot about how social networks and online culture work. And I'm very guilty of this too. I always get hundreds of very nice comments on this channel from people saying how important my videos are to them in ways that are so nice I honestly think to myself they must be exaggerating. They are the overwhelming majority, but When I get one negative comment, that's the one I will be focusing on, and reply to, and get angry, and share with my friends, and engage with. Unfortunately, anger moves us much more than empathy. It's much quicker to get us on our feet. And this is what most of these networks, Twitter, are built upon. Isn't it crazy that the most voted post in the history of a competitive Pokemon subreddit is not a post about strategy or community or the meta? It's a shitpost about hate? When writing this script, I asked for my followers to leave a message for Homophobic Ferrothorn so I could feature in this video, and I got so many answers that it almost felt like engagement bait. Of course, LGBT people are used to being attacked online and we will get really defensive, but it is really sad to see that the way that these communities are built. When I had asked earlier about Stunfisk, I got like 2 replies. And when I asked for messages for Ferrothorn, I had hundreds of angry comments. Angry at a meme, at a made-up story. No, actually, Twitter is an incredible example of this. I have to repeat this in every video because there's always someone shocked to find out in the comments. I'm sorry, but I'm Brazilian. Recently, my entire country was banned from that website because the new owner, Apartheid's Jimmy Neutron, is... And I hate using Twitter. I hate my timeline. It keeps showing me the same thing I hate literally 20 times a day. The latest example has been a dividing post by @NoraInTheFuture about grass starters, which I will not share here because I don't want to have this conversation again. But the post is not the point. The point was just like a really bad vibes divisive post. And the Twitter algorithm made sure that I saw, literally, more than 50 quotes to that post throughout the entire day, from people I don't follow. The worst experience I've ever had on a website, anger-inducing. And somehow I keep coming back. The original author, Emily, feels bad about this whole situation too. She told me that she finds it very disappointing that it's collectively referred to as the Homophobic Ferrothorn meme, when really, we shouldn't be platforming Ferrothorn at all, and instead should be celebrating Slowbro for coming out. It sounds silly, but I swear it's not. I know it's just a meme and it's supposed to be funny, but I think it's a bit symptomatic that we, as a community, choose to highlight the fake homophobia instead of celebrating the fake queer love. Even if it's all headcanon, it gives us something to think about. What do we prioritize when building online communities? I think we all just need to chill a bit. I know there are some very difficult months ahead for my US followers, and queer people all over the world cannot have a single break. Instead of wasting energy fighting with people who are gonna pull up a spiky shield on us, let's take care of people within our community. And let's forget about Ferrothorn. Congratulations on your coming out, Slowbro. I hope you and Executor can find love in Gen 8 OU. As a comment in my thread says, let's not forget that Steel type was created in the same gen as the gay ball, Love Ball. But wait, hang on, wait. Isn't the Love Ball the straight ball because it works on the Pokemon of the opposite gender? Unless, wait. Let me open Bulbapedia very quickly. Okay, so because the Apricorn balls in Gen 2 are all glitched, the Love Ball is 8 times better when catching Pokemon of the same gender, which means the Love Ball is heterophobic? How does that affect the meta? Well, this was a short one and I'm happy about it because it was swift and fun and I need a break before the 2 videos that are coming next. Believe me. Spoilers. Either way, I'm happy we were able to have this conversation because I think it's important. If you enjoyed this one, I want to invite you to check the other videos on this channel too, except for the Among Us one, which you probably already watched. I really like to speak about Pokemon, gender, and politics. This one about Pokerogue is probably the best thing I've ever written, and I made some really nice ones about Pokemon Worlds 2024 that might awaken an interest in you for competitive events, and honestly, they need a little love, so I would love if you would check them out. Liking and subscribing also go a long way when helping me navigate the deep and treacherous waters of the YouTube algorithm. I hope to see you back on this channel soon.